Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् नारायणम् पद्मभवम् वसिष्ठम् शक्तिम् च तत्पुत्रपराशरम् च व्यासम् शुकम् गौडपादम् महान्तम् गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमतास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमतास्य पद्मपादम् च हस्तामलकम् च शिष्यम् तम् तोडकम् वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतम् करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयम् देवम् सद्गुरुम् ब्रह्मविद्परम् सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरम् तमगोचरम् गोविन्दम् परमानन्दम् सद्गुरुम् प्रणतोऽस्मि अहम् 438 438
Yes, exactly.
Let's start 438. No, we finished 38. Yeah, we'll read 38 now. Vijñāda ātmano yasya brahma bhava shrutirbalat bhavabandha vinirmuktah sajivan mukta lakshana. Explaining again, this entire section is about Jivan Muktasya Lakshanam, Lakshanani. So the characteristics of a person who is free. Now, what is that? Vijñāta Atmanaha Yasya. One whose knowledge about the Atman is very clear. Shruder Balat Brahma Bhavaha. Because of the strength of understanding about Brahman through Shruti. Bhavabandha Vinirmuktaha. Obviously, this Shastra is to give him the guidelines to become free from the bondage of change. Bhavabandha Vinirmuktaha sa Jivan Mukta. So, Jivan Mukta is one, he is not bound by samsara which others suffer, and the transformation takes place because of the Shrutehe Balat. That is very important here, because people will go behind those sadhus who are having no scriptural authority, and therefore they effectively cannot guide the students, because students will come from varieties of problems. Not all of them have similar issues. Their issues are of different kinds. Unless the correct knowledge is there, one method does not well work with everybody, right? My way or hit a highway doesn't work. So, what is the common issue and how that common issue, common problem, common source of a problem, and that needs to be eradicated. That is the purpose of the Vedanta, Vichar, etc. So that's why Shrudehi Balat Brahma Bhavaha. By the strength of the Shruti, study and reflection, etc., once obtainment of this state of Brahman alone makes one able to be released from the bondage of Bhava. Continuing here in the next verse, 439. Dehendriyeshvaham bhavah
देहेन्द्रियेष्वहं भावः
idam bhavastadanyake
इदं भावस्तदन्यके
yasya no bhavadakvapi
यस्य नो भवतः क्वापि
sajivan mukta ishyate
सजीवन्मुक्त इष्यते
देहेन्द्रियेष्वहं भावः इदं भावस्तदन्यके यस्य नो भवतः क्वापि सजीवन्मुक्त इष्यते देह इन्द्रिय प्राण मन बुद्धि इत्यादिषु अहं भावः तदा तत् व्यतिरिक्तं सर्वं तद् अन्यके सर्वेषु idam bhavah. We divide the world into two parts, aham and idam. What you call it as I presently is what we call it as the body I am, mind I am, buddhi I am, prana I am, my sense organs I am, right? And anything other than that, what is being experienced through the aham is idam. Right? All the objects, people, everything other than aham is idam. Ahamadam pada abhikyamanvaham. Ramana Maharshi says, aham idam iti dvividam vishwam. Aham abhi vishwameva. Yatya jnatavyam bhavati or yatya jnatam bhavati tat sarvam vishwam. Anything that is known is world. Whether you call it as aham world or idam world. The body is also world only. World means matter here, subject to constant change. So, aham, presently what we have, deha indriyeshu aham bhavaha. And idam bhavaha tad anyake. In all others are referred as idam. For a Jivan Mukta, yasya na bhavatah kwapi. For him, this does not happen. अरे उसको अहम भी नहीं है इदम भी नहीं है देहेन्द्रियेषु च अहं भावः तदन्यके तदन्यस्मिन् घट आदौ इदं भावः यस्य क्वापि कस्मिन्नपि काले न भवतः स जीवन्मुक्तः. Not at no time, any time, at no time, he has this difference. Why? अनात्मत्वस्य समत्वात्. जो अहम है और अहम भावेन यत्य ज्ञायते इदम शब्देन यत्य ज्ञायते तत् सर्वम अनात्मा एव. In general, both aham, whatever you identify as aham, and that's I, and whatever you think it is not you, both are anatma only. It is not one is Atman, another is. Presently, what we say, this body is Atman. Atman means myself. Anything else is not self. I cannot say this is me. So, as far as a common man is concerned, this is not me, this is me. So, the aham, whatever you refer presently, is considered as me. And whatever other than that, it is not me. But jnanam, what it says, Atma eva satyam, tat vyadiriktam sarvam anityam asatyam anatma. So then, if the self is only one, anything other than that, including what you presently refer yourself as aham, as they are all anatma only. So that's why he says, Anatmatvasya samatvat. Dehendriyanam gadadescha. Like body also equal to that of the part, etc., which are also equally matter. Swasmin kalpitatvasya cha samatvat. Because all of them are imagined to be real. Kalpitatvat. They are all merely from the standpoint of Paramartha, all of them are projected realities. As much as a person who wakes up from the dream does not give any reality to oneself in the dream as well as all the things that he dreamt. He cannot say the one who was dreaming there was real. Everything else was unreal. No. The one who was dreaming is also equally unreal like anything else. Right? You cannot say the one who was actually dreaming, that character was real. I wish I could be that character. That was equally unreal. So therefore, both of them. Kevala purvavasana mulakaha aham idam bhavaha. He brings a beautiful point here. Aham equal to vasana. This aham bhava, I-ness or I identification itself is vasana. So we think vasana is an impression created by experiences, etc., right? But here he brings the point, even the notion of I itself is a vasana. This vasana is the most difficult to overcome. We can say, oh, I had a coffee vasana, cigarette vasana, the drinking vasana, these are all. But the aham vasana, what do you do with that? If that is removed, everything will go. It's a pulling the carpet then. And aham itself is a vasana. Kevala purva vasana mulakaha, because of being sourced by previous vasanas, aham idam bhavaha. Therefore, nirvasana bodhavataha, for the one who has gained that nirvasana, jivan muktasya na sambhavati bhavaha. Iti bhavaha. So therefore, for a Jivan Mukta who has eradicated not only other vasanas, but their Mula vasana called Aham. Ahamina Shaba Jahamaham Taya Spuradihrit Swayam Paramapurna Sat. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi made it a simple statement, but then if you go deeper and deeper, you realize how deeply he has thought about that. When Aham is removed, that vasana called Aham is removed, with that you pull the carpet. Completely gone. It's like you are seeing a movie on a screen and the screen is removed. Then what will you do? Where will you see the movie any further? This projector may be going on, right? Then there's no screen to project. That aham is the support of all these confusions. That is removed. Then there is no possibility of any more rajas and tamas working on that. So Gurudev writes, says, all these verses indicating the Jivan Mukta are not for judging others. I think my teacher is not a Jivan Mukta. It looks like he's too much of aham. See, others can never be judged by you, for you will judge them with your mind and intellect. And so, you will see things which are not there. So when we judge others, we are judging with our parameters, right? If somebody is sitting there smiling, think he has some joyful news, happy news and all, we project. We do not know why that fellow is smiling. Actually, he's smiling at your stupidity. Then you realize, oh God, he's smiling at me. All these verses are for self-observation. The Jivan Mukti Lakshana, when it is talked about, it is not to evaluate your somebody. It is for me to recognize whether I have this notion. Now, I often think, once in a while I just think, when I was just 4 or 5 year old, I used to try to recollect, where was I? What was I doing? What was my day like? When, so many years back. And at that time, what was the aham at that point? What was my priorities at that time when I was 5, 6 year old? What was my priority? What was I busy with, in other words? And what was my perception of the world at that time? Or even when you get later on, when you are a teenager or in youth, and you just think about it, what was that which I was giving so much importance at that point of time? I thought that at that time I thought, without that I cannot live. That's so important to me, source of my joy. And suddenly look at now. Is that there? This is why I was so worried and so agitated by those things. At that time of my understanding or confusion or delusion or whatever, at that time, how much I was so troubled by that filthy, useless things, meaning a very transient, mundane, purposeless agitation. So at that time, I did not have the recognition to know I'm unnecessarily getting disturbed by that. Even now, you get disturbed by something else. This you will know only afterwards. Later on, in 10 years from now, that was so stupid of me. If you realize, sorry. If you don't, that's a different question. Right? So you yourself cannot judge your condition of that time. If you judge your condition of that time from today's knowledge, how will it look? At that time, why we are happy? Because of what? And today, from this standpoint, if you judge it, you will think that, oh, I was getting excited about that stupid thing. In the same way, when we look at what excites us, agitates us today, from from today, some other years later, when you are able to have greater maturity and look at it, the judgment will be wrong. Today's judgment is wrong. Vis-a-vis what we will see it later. If that is the case with you yourself, what to talk of others? Ah. Well, how do you even evaluate and judge others' joy and sorrow? So these are all for self-observation. आत्म विचार के लिए, अन्य विचार के लिए नहीं है. So, continuing, he says, न प्रत्यग् ब्रह्मणो भेदम्
न प्रत्यग्ब्रह्मणोर्भेदम्
कदापि ब्रह्मसर्गयोः
कदापि ब्रह्मसर्गयोः
प्रज्ञया यो विजानाति
प्रज्ञया यो विजानाति
सजीवन्मुक्तलक्षणः
सजीवन्मुक्तलक्षणः
न प्रत्यग्ब्रह्मणोर्भेदम् कदापि ब्रह्मसर्गयोः प्रज्ञया यो विजानाति सजीवन्मुक्तलक्षणः न भेदम् कदापि. There is no difference at all between what? Pratyak Brahmanoho, from the inner self and the Brahman. Brahma Sargayoho api na vedaha. No difference between also the world, the universe, Srij. Srij means Srishti. Sarga means Srishtis, that whole world, and Brahma, Brahman. Between Brahman and the world, and between Brahman and Pratyakatma. No difference at all. How does he know? Prajnaya Vijanatiya. By his correct awareness, he knows that. Sa Jivan Mukta. Meaning between one's own self and the Brahman which is operating through all beings, known as Ishvara. Between the Jiva and Ishvara, as Tattvamasi Vakya will clearly say, essentially there is only one appearing to be two, therefore there is no Bheda. And if at all say the Upadhi is a Bheda, Upadhi is an illusory external garb one is wearing. Really, as I said yesterday also, between the president and the resident, what is the Bheda? At home is only a resident, husband. Outside in the world is a president. Who is he? Same person only. With respect to the position, he is a president. With respect to at home, he is a resident. Can't even open his mouth. He can address the Congress. At home, he can't do anything. So the one who is husband and one who is the president of the country, essentially is the same person only. With respect to external authority and then other responsibility, yeah, he's referred as president. But after all, he is the same person. Similarly, with respect to the entire world of creation, through the whole creation, one who expresses is the same one who is expressing within us as Pratyekatma. He sees no distinction between the Lord behind the whole universe, cosmos called Ishvara, and the Lord functioning through the body called Jiva. There is no difference at all here. So here, जीवेशोभय संसार रूप दुर्वासनोज्जिता स सर्वदा भवेत्यस्य स जीवन मुक्तोच्यते. That is added here by this Bhashyakar here. But further he says, न प्रत्यक ब्रह्मणोः भेदं कदापि सेम विभेद जनके अज्ञाने नाशं भाति नाशम आत्यंतिकं गते भेदः अज्ञाने भेदः. Due to the ignorance, there is a perception of difference. Now see, interesting thing is the previous verse said that outside what he says as idam and one refers to oneself as aham, both of them are created by a vasana. Vasanas only creates a notion of I with oneself. And that same vasana only creates a notion of this. So from one standpoint, those don't exist. From the Paramarthika Satta, neither the Aham is true nor Idam is true. Correct? Now, this verse he says, why it is not true? Because the other are, Aham and Idam, whatever the notion is appearing, is only an appearance. Therefore, the reality is that they being non-existent, he cannot see the Bheda. I can see the Bheda or the difference only with respect to something which exists. There is no Bheda between me and my horns. Is there any difference between me and my horn? Yes? Yes or no? Say yes or no. Is there any difference between me and my horn? Doesn't exist. So there is no question of Bheda at all. So one understanding is that the Bheda Drishti is Ajnana only. Because once you know Asatva, non-existence of it, with respect to non-existence, how will you see the Bheda? So that is very interesting point here. Viveda janake ajnane nasham atyantikam gate cha atmani brahmano bedam asantam kaha karishyati. Bedam, which is asantam. Bedam means difference which is not there. Kaha karishyati, who will do it? Iti pramanat. प्रत्यक् ब्रह्मणोः जीव ब्रह्मणोः सृज्यते इति सर्गः जगत् ब्रह्म एव इदं सर्वम् इत्यादि श्रुत्या ऋद्धसर्पादिवत् ब्रह्मणि कल्पितस्य अधिष्ठान भेद अभावात्. Is there really a difference between the snake and the rope? Really? There are two things. One doesn't exist. There is a big difference between the rope and the snake. Is there? No. So, interesting thing, when you analyze it, between the snake and the rope, there cannot be difference because there are no two. If there is a snake and there is a rope, then we can say there is a difference. Adhisthana Veda Bhava. There is no difference in the Adhishtan. The substratum is the same. The rope only is there. And the rope alone is there. And you see, even when I was seeing the snake, there is only rope. And therefore, when the Adhisthana is the same when it is seen, you cannot say there are two things called. One is called the rope for the men of wisdom, and there is a snake for the men of ignorance. Even as the man of ignorance looking at it, his eyes are looking at only the rope. Is it not? One eye is looking at snake. Another eye is looking at the rope. Some people have that vision, no? You wonder where is he looking at? Me or something else? Cross-eye. Cross-eye. One eye is looking at the rope, another eye is looking at the snake or what? With the eyes, what are you looking at? The rope only. Now, where is the snake then? So, wherever there is snake, there itself, wherever there is a rope, there itself is a snake. It's not even 1 milli-inch away from it. And you say, rope is there and snake is above, hovering above that. Is it that floating above that snake, above the rope? Huh? 1 foot away, 1 feet away, 1 inch away, 1 centimeter away, 1 centimeter away? No. So the one which does not exist, how can there be a Veda? That is very interesting here. Yes, yatra na anyat pashyati, na anyat vijanati, na anyat shrunoti. He doesn't see other. He doesn't hear anything other. Ityadi shrutya. Yada hi evesha etasmin udaramantaram gurude adatasya bhayam bhavati. A person who makes even a little difference between himself and Brahman, fear starts. Uncertainty starts. Anxiety starts. Right? All our fear are about difference that we create. That's what edasmin udaramantaram kurute. Tatasya vayam bhavati. So, vastutaha is a very interesting point he puts here. Ajnane kinchid jnatvam natu asataha. Vastutaha, in reality, ajnane kinchid jnatvam. So, natu asataha. Very interesting point here is when it is said, Yajñātva sarvabidam vijñādam bhavati. Upanishad says what? The teacher is approached by the student and says, teach me that knowledge. Yajñātva sarvamidam vijñādam bhavati. Having known which, everything is known. Even Gita says that. In chapter 7 or so, which we saw last week, he said, having known which, everything else is known. So this is a very interesting point here is, how a man of realization will get to know everything upon knowing Brahman. Having known which you are wanted there. Having known which everything else is known. How is that is achieved? Any idea? Having known Brahman, everything is known. How is that possible? Tell me.
There's nothing else to know.
How?
You know the ultimate truth.
Okay, so by knowing which everything will be known.
Meaning the knower.
Everything else is illusion.
Huh?
Everything else is illusion. Anyway.
Correct, exactly. See, when you say, I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know that. I know Brahman, but I don't know this. Yeah, I know Brahman, but I don't know about the computer, I don't know about software, I don't know about this. Interesting thing is, only in the sphere of ignorance there is something to be known. That's what it is. Vasudaha ajnane kinchit jnatvam. Anything that is to be known is in the realm of ignorance. Jnatavyam kinchit na asti tasya. He says, in the knowing of Brahman, there is nothing more to be known. Why? Well, nothing else exists. After waking up from the dream, there was one character in that dream, no? I really don't know who that person is. Harry, that fellow doesn't exist. It's your mental creation. After knowing the rope, will you find out whether the snake was originally a poisonous snake or water snake? What is the point in knowing that? Is it 10 feet or 5 feet? Is it black color or brown color? Who do you bother about that? Because it doesn't exist. All knowing or even little knowing or everything is within the sphere of ignorance. So therefore, a person who has gained that Brahmajnanam is all knowing. Why? Because there is nothing else to be known. So that nothing else to be known has to be understood from that standpoint. Nothing remains to be known. Why? Nothing remains. So, nahi sarvajnanam yoginam shashavishanadi ajnanat sarvajnatvam kaschit upayati. Because all others are seen by him as shashavishanabat, the horns of a rabbit. So he feels complete and full because he has reached a point of understanding there is nothing else there to be known. That's why it is said, Yajnatva Sarvamidam Vijnatam. What is to be known already is known. Another point he puts here is Shastrasya Prayojanavat Anadigata Abadidartham Avadidarthabodhagatvena eva pramanyat. These are all the very important things. Shastrasya, what is the nature of Shastra here? Prayojanam. Shastra Patanasya or Shastra Adhyanasya Prayojanam. What is the benefit of or the end result of study of the Shastra? Anadigata, Adigata means known. Anadigata, what is unknown, at the same time, abadida artha, what cannot be falsified. To teach that alone is the nature of Shastra, Vedanta Shastra. What is unknown and never disappears. जो अज्ञात है और अबाधित है, उसको जानना ही शास्त्र जिज्ञासा फलम है. Shastra Adhyayana Phalam is to know that which is unknown and which will never disappear. There are many things in this world which are unknown, but they never remain same. They disappear. They appear and disappear. And so what is the point in gaining a knowledge of something which does not exist forever? That is not the role of Shastra. The role of Shastra is to teach us that which is unknown as well as that which is never failing to be infallible. That's why Bhagavan Krishna says, Idi guhyatamam shastram tvamayanaka buddhva buddhiman syat kritakrityasya bharat. Thereafter he become complete. Kritakritya. Kritam kritya. Whatever is to be done, I am done. Yet kartavyam kritam. Yet jnatavyam jnatam. Yet bhoktavyam bhuktam. What is to be known, it's already known. What is to be done, it's already done. What is to be experienced, it's all done. So such is the kritakritya bhava. So Pratiti Jeevar Jagatoh Swapnavat Bhati Ayavata Tavan Nirantaram Vidwan Swadhyasa Apanayam Kuru. Swadhyasa Apanayam Kuru. One's own self-projection must be removed. Apanayam Kuru. Nirantaram Apanayam Kuru. Continuously engage in Adhyasa removal. That is a whole idea here. Continuing. Sadhibi pujyamanesmin.
Sadhubhih pujyamanesmin.
Pidyamanepi durjanaihi.
Vidyamanepi durjanaiः.
Samabhavo bhavetyasya.
Samabhavo bhavedyasya.
Sajivan mukta lakshanaha.
Jivanmuktalakshanaः.
Sadhubi pujyamanesmin pidyamanepi durjanaihi samabhavo bhavetyasya sajivan mukta lakshanaha. Spashtam. Not much to be said in this. Samabhavaha. For he does not consider other than the self anything really existing. Therefore, if somebody is praising him or somebody is hurting him through words, it's not that he will smile and mock him. Not that, what are you ridiculing me? No, here in the case of a Mahatma who remains sama, this samatvam is not tolerance. That is not tidiksha. And at one point of time, Bhagavan Krishna says, Tan tidikshasva bharata. That is a sadhana, right? When it is Sridoshna Sukadukesha Sukha, all those things, Tan tidikshasva bharata. Please bear with them. Bearing is sadhana. When it is heat or cold, joy or sorrow, failure and success, and all these things, when they come, maintain equanimity as a sadhana. But here, samabhavaha yasya bhavet lakshana. His nature is to be same. He does not react to any one of them, whether pujyamane atava pidyamane. Sadhubihi pujyamane. Of course, he will be praised and extolled by men of wisdom, or he may be pidyamane durjanaihi, by the men who have no knowledge about his nature. Therefore, they probably take him and insult him and all that. Samabhavaha bhavedyasya sajivan muktaha. He maintains that equilibrium because he doesn't see the difference at all. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavastitam ishwaram vinashyats avinashyantam. One who sees that oneness, thereafter he has no reason to react. Will you react to the enemy in your dream? Swamiji, in my dream yesterday you came and scolded me. Therefore, I am here to scold you. You don't think, what? This tonight, I'll come. You scold me at that time. Because in the waking state, I didn't say anything to you. I came in the dream, no, yesterday. Today also I'll come. Then scold, oh, scold. No problem. I have no problem with that. So there is no reaction by these Jivan Mukta towards either praise or insult. In Sadhana Panchakam, he said that don't take it too seriously. Right? Where is that verse? What is the verse? Come on, quick. Reference. Sadhana Panchakam. What is that? Hmm? What is the verse? Don't remember?
Naishtoriam
Anybody?
upasrujyata.
Huh?
Naishtoriam upasrujyata.
What Naishturyam? What is Naishturyam? Looking for the phone now, see. Janakripa Naishturyam Utsrujyatam. That's what right. You should only the half of it. Janakripa Naishturyam Utsrujyatam. Leave aside Kripa and Naishturyam. Insult or praise or Kripa, both. That as a sadhana he has given. No, do not take it too seriously. But here in the case of Jivan Mukta, he doesn't even have the no, he doesn't even notice that somebody is doing the praise, somebody is doing insult. Samabhava. Yatra pravishta vishaya pareritaha.
Yadya pravishta vishaya paririta.
Nadi pravaha iva varirashau.
Nadi pravaha iva varirashau.
Linanti sanmatratayana vikriyam.
Linanti sanmatratayana vikriyam.
Utpadayantyesha yatirvimuktah.
Utpadayantyesha yatirvimuktah.
Yatra pravishta vishaya pareritaha. Nadi pravaha iva varirashau. Linanti sanmatratayana vikriyam. Utpadayantyesha yatirvimuktah. Yatra, where parairitaha vishayaha pravishtaha na vikriyam utpadayanti. That is how it is to be understood. Yatra, where vishayaha paraihi iritaha. Paraihi means anyaihi. By others, what is being considered as objects of excitement, object of experience, enjoyment, etc., are iritaha, being induced. Vishayaha. Even as they pravishtaha, they enter in the presence of a Mahatma, na vikriyam utpadayanti yeshaha matihi yatihi vimuktaha. Yeshaha yatihi vimuktaha yasmin na utpadayanti. It does not create any kind of change in his mind. Like what? Nadi pravaha varirasho iva. Like the rivers in great force, they come into the ocean, and the ocean is just quiet. Into which, when they enter, there is no more agitation in the ocean at all. It just absorbs it and disappears. Linanti, merge. Layam gachanti. Apuryamanam achala pradishtam. As Bhagavan Krishna has said in Gita, Samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tatvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnodina kama kami. Like the rivers come in great force and so many of them will enter into the ocean. Ocean will remain on the same level only. It doesn't increase or decrease. It is remaining its own state. In the same way, as others may be interested in many enjoyable things and other things when they come and enter in the presence of a Mahatma, but to him it remains nothing but a merging into him. Why? Sanmatrataya, because he remains as pure existence. His mind does not oscillate in any way. Like, again, going back to the example of when you are dreaming, you may be running, but what are you actually at that point on the bed? Are you running in the bed? You may be running. In the dream, you are running fast, and some tiger is chasing or somewhere. But others, when you look at it, what do they look at you? What is going on in your mind? You are just lying. In the same way, Jivan Mukta, in whom all other things will get in, but will make no difference at all. Na vikriyam utpadayanti. No change will happen in his mind. So that is why it is said here. Para iritaha means paraihi anyaihi iritaha anena swataha vishayonmukatvam na eva asti ikshita brahmanaha. But the one who has seen Brahman clearly, there is no vishayonmukatvam, turning towards the Vishayas. Parakrita stuti nindadayaho api paradrishtya sadhu asadu shabdat atmakaha vishayaha. From other standpoint, it is insult and praise, etc. From his standpoint, it's just words. I often give this example when you're walking on the road, somebody says, "Hey, fool, come here." If you respond, you're fool. How dare? I was wondering who is the fool here. Now you responded. Then you must be the one. If you don't respond, then you will go to somebody else and call him fool. At the moment you respond, you are proving yourself to be fool. So here the world will project everything, stuti and ninda. And if you react, then you are recipient of that then. And we want to stuti, but not ninda. But in this world, if you are receiving stuti, equally you should be ready for ninda. If you are waiting for praise, you should be ready for insult also. Yushayaha yatra pravishtaha yam uddishya kritaha varirashau pravishtaha nadi pravaha iva dinanti liyante. Like the rivers that are entering into the ocean cannot make any change. Na vikriyam utpadayanti harshava amarshava dainyamba. Does not create joy, harsha, marshavi, Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita also, one who is muktaha, harsha, amarsha, bhaya udvegehi vimuktaha, yasaha, my priyaha. My devotee is one. There is no harsha, amarsha, bhaya, udvega. Why it is so? Tatra hetuhu sanmatraya iti. Akanda Brahma eva aham iti nischitya sthitavadaha. I am that pure Brahman who does not undergo any change and does not associate with anything that is praised or insulted by people who are only looking at me as the inert one. So, nirgune nirdoshe cha brahmanistadavatam sakala vida vikara shunyatvam. Therefore, this is an interesting example he gives. Akasha hananartha khanda khadgadi ayuda prayuktitavat vyaktam. A person takes a huge sword. What are you trying to do? I'm going to cut the space into parts. Very good work. Keep doing. Vyartham, useless. Akasha hananartham. To cut the space, Kadgadi Ayuda Prayuktivat. How a person takes a sword and tries to cut the Akash. He may be doing busily, he will be engaged there. Nothing will happen. In the same way, in the Jivan Muktasya, his Lakshana is what? In Jivan Mukta Lakshana is Aham Akhanda Brahma Bhava. I am that divisionless presence in whom any kind of such objects or things coming to disturb will disappear. Hmm. So that's the reason why then that individual have no kriya na utpadayanti. And it is also said, somebody would say, is it not the prarabdha and all other things that is still waiting for him to experience until he leave the body? Will it not disturb him then? Because he is living with the physical body until he dies. And when the physical body is there, all other experiences because of his purva karma, prarabdha karma will come. And we know that prarabdha karma has to be experienced. That cannot be removed by jnanam. Jnanam will only remove some, what calls sanchida and agami. What is unstarted, what is yet to start. Unstarted means of the past and yet to be coming, giving results from the future. But those can be removed. But what about prarabdha? So therefore in Brahma Sutra it is written, Bhogena tu itare kshapayitva sampatyate. Prarabdham, which is Bhogena. By experience alone it will end, and other two will end through knowledge. So in that case, what will happen to the individual while he is living in this world, like anyone else, whose prarabdha is still active? So that is answered here. Vijnada Brahma Tattvasya
विज्ञात ब्रह्मतत्त्वस्य
यथा पूर्वं न संसृतिः
यया पूर्वं न संसृतिः
अस्ति चेन्न स विज्ञात
अस्ति चेन्न स विज्ञात
ब्रह्मभावो बहिर्मुखः
ब्रह्मभावो बहिर्मुखः
विज्ञात ब्रह्मतत्त्वस्य यथा पूर्वं न संसृतिः अस्ति चेन्न स विज्ञात ब्रह्मभावो बहिर्मुखः Vijnata Brahma Tattvasya, for the one who has gained this knowledge of Brahman, Yatha Purvam na samsritihi. There is no samsara like before. He doesn't look at the objects of the senses as any more objects of the senses. There is no more inclination towards any of the objects of the senses like before. Like before means Brahma, Jnana, Udayat, Purva. The way he was looking at things before. If he is not seeing the way, if he is continuing to see the world the same way as before, that means he doesn't have Brahmajnana. That's as simple as that. Asti chet nasa vijnata Brahmabhava. Now the only difference you can see that he doesn't look at the world the same way as Gurudev was telling when we were taking Diksha, Brahmacharya Diksha. Ours was the last batch he initiated. So we were not sure whether he will come at all or not because he was so sick. 93 May, I remember May 23, 1993. So he came and we were not sure. We were already in the temple, Shakadeshwara temple, we were all waiting. Not sure. The news that came to us from Gurudev's Kutir he still not got up. It is already 8 o'clock because he was so tired and sick. Anyway, we were ready to get going with the event. And in his absence, our teacher will initiate and whatever. So it's just sitting there. So we were chanting, and all that. And the program, Gurudev's program, coming in, we should start at 9 o'clock, and we are communicating continuously what's happening. Exactly at 9 o'clock, you open the door. Yes, as though nothing has happened. He just walked straight into the temple. The new students' initiation. The brahmacharis inside. Let us start. And as he sat down, and he obviously, do the initiation and all that. And then he said, okay, now interesting thing that you will see is, to all of us, when you go back after staying here for 2.5 years of study, when you go outside these gates, you will see, and we were all wondering what he's going to say, people still walking on only 2 legs. Birds will be birds, animals will be animals, mosquito will be mosquito. Nothing has changed. But you should have changed. The way you look at the world must have undergone the change. Other things in the world will be whatever it is. So if you have not changed your view of the world, then you have gained nothing in these 2 years, 2.5 years. So that is why it says, Vijnada Brahma Tattvasya Yata Purvam Na Samsruti. The samsara will not be the same way as it was before. Asti chet, if it is there, Nasa Vijnada Brahma. He doesn't know. For one who has experienced the reality, there is no sansar. Sansar is the phenomenon of going and coming, of repeated births and deaths. If any avenues for egocentric activity have opened up, then the man has not experienced Brahma. Entering samsar is possible only when the mind is turned outward. Brahirmukha. The mind is turned outside, it will definitely experience the same samsar as it was before. Antarmukhi bhava, na jwalamukhi. Antarmukhi bhava. Antarmukhi means turn your attention inward as and when possible. As the world of things appear in front of you, turn around. So, it is clear indication that he has not realized the self fully. If he is extrovert, and this is a sign of ignorance. So that is why it is said, Vijñātam anubhavam brahmatattvam yena saha vijñāta brahmatattvaha tasya mitya jnana nashena tat kritartha abhimana abhavat. There is no more abhimana, I-ness with the objects and senses. Yata purvam, as it was before, anubhavat prag eva na samsritihi. Sukha dukkha anubhavaha. And therefore it is said in Gita also, Dukkeshvanad Vigmanaha Sukeshu Vigataspruhaha Vitaraga Bayakrotaha Sitadir Muniruchate. Dukkeshu, in the sorrow, Anudvignamanaha. There's no more agitation. Sukeshu Vigataspruhaha. In joyful experiences, there is no spruha. There's more need seeking repeatedness. Arsha Amarsha Vayodvege. So that way, and then therefore Vita Raga Baya Krodha. There is no Raga Baya Krodha for him. Stitadihi Munihi. So in the other case, or Ajnani's case is what? Itaresham na evam vidatvam, not in this case. What is the sign of Ajnan? Dukkeshu udvijante. Ajnanis are those who are sorrowful. Today also somebody came to me. So, I said, what happened? Nothing is going on the way I want. It will not. I didn't want to tell her that question. Obviously, if you are expecting something and that is going to happen and that doesn't happen, I am unhappy about it. I cannot say that. If you is a Vedanta student, I will directly say on the face only. It will not. You understand that? Nothing will happen the way you want. But if you're a common man, you say that, something wrong with this person. That's why Ajnanina don't buddhi, they don't unnecessarily disturb the mind of an Ajnani. Because they won't understand what you're talking about. Na buddhi bedam janayet Ajnaninam karma sanginam. A Vedanta student, you can directly tell. It will not happen the way you want. Understand that. Simple. But if a common man, dukkeshu udvijante, sukepyah spruhayanti, open the bottle. What is that? Champagne. Why? Sukeshu, sarvis, sukebhyah sab spruhayanti. Just raktaha, bhitaha, kopinascha, anger, the fear, attachment, it's all there in the Ajnana Bhumi. But that is not the case with the Jivanmukta. Astiche, these are all if it is seen in the case of a man of knowledge, that means he doesn't know. Nasa Vijnata Brahma Bhava Bahirmukha. He is only outward turned mind. See more of it in the next class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhat Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.